For years, we've all heard the same old story about young people in the housing market, right? Too much debt, not enough cash, and a wall of barriers just to get in the game. Well, that whole narrative is being torn up and completely rewritten. There's a new generation on the scene, and they are not just playing by the old rules, they are fundamentally changing them. We are talking about Gen Z and their entry into real estate. I mean, it's surprising, it's powerful, and it's strategic. It's nothing short of a market revolution. But here's the thing. At the heart of this revolution is this fascinating paradox. On one side, you have a generation facing what might be the toughest housing market in memory. We're talking sky high prices, crazy interest rates. And yet, on the other side, they are achieving homeownership in ways that just defy all expectations. So that brings us to the big question we're going to unpack today. Are they the smartest, most strategic home buyers we've ever seen? Or are they just the most challenged? Okay, let's just dive right into this contradiction. On the savviest side of things, we've got this frankly stunning finding from the Lynch Group. It says that despite all the economic headwinds, Gen Z is actually buying homes faster than both millennials and Gen X did when they were the same age. Now, I want you to just pause and think about that for a second. We're in a market where home prices have just exploded, interest rates have more than doubled in the blink of an eye, and finding a house to buy is incredibly hard. And yet, this generation is moving faster than the ones who came before them, who had it, let's be honest, way easier. How is that even possible? What are they doing that's so different? But right when you're trying to wrap your head around that incredible fact, a Redfin analysis comes along and gives us the other side of the story. It shows that if you look at the total percentage of the generation that owns a home, well, both Gen Z and millennials are still lagging behind the milestones set by baby boomers and Gen X. So, how can both of these things be true at the same time? How can they be buying houses faster, but as a group own fewer of them? That is the contradiction we are here to solve. In this explainer, we're going to dissect the data, we're going to get inside the unique mindset of this generation, and we're going to reveal the innovative and sometimes unconventional strategies they're using to get to the real story of the Gen Z homebuyer. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to solve that paradox we just talked about. Then we'll dig into the new playbook Gen Z is using. What's driving them? What makes their mindset so different? After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how they're hacking the down payment and where they're getting their info in this crazy digital world. And finally, we'll zoom out to see how they're reshaping the entire market and what it all means for this thing called the Great Housing Reset. All right, let's tackle this Gen Z paradox head on. Like we said, we've got two pieces of data that seem to completely contradict each other. But the answer isn't that one is right and one is wrong. The answer is that they're measuring two totally different things. And once you get that difference, you get the key to understanding this entire generation's approach to money, to wealth, and to stability. Okay, so let's look at the hard numbers behind the first part of this puzzle. This is the data that makes it look like Gen Z is falling behind. Let's zero in on the age of 28. By 2025, projections say that about 38.3% of 28-year-old Gen Zers will own a home. Now compare that to the older generations at that exact same age. When Gen X was 28, 42.5% of them were homeowners. For the baby boomers, it was even higher, 44.4%. So yeah, on the surface, it looks like an open and shut case. The economic conditions that let boomers and Gen X buy homes just don't really exist anymore. The headwinds are real and you can see it in these numbers. But remember, this is only looking at one thing, the total number of homeowners at a specific birthday. It tells us nothing about their momentum. And this is the whole key right here. You have to separate the rate of entry from historical milestones. Think of it like a race. The boomers and Gen X, they got to start the race much closer to the finish line thanks to a much friendlier economic track. Gen Z, on the other hand, is starting way back. But, and this is the crucial part, they are running at a faster pace than the previous runners were at the same point in the race. They might not have caught up yet, but their acceleration is what's so incredible. So you see, it paints that perfect picture. A generation that is both deeply challenged by their environment and incredibly proactive in how they respond to it. Both things are true. It's a story of resilience. So that proactivity just begs the question, why? I mean, with all these obstacles, what is possibly driving them to go after homeownership so early and with such intensity? To get that answer, we have to look past the spreadsheets and really get into the psychology, the formative experiences that built this whole new homeownership playbook. This timeline just lays it out so perfectly. This is the crucible that forged the Gen Z mindset. We're talking about kids born between 1997 and 2012. This isn't just a list of historical events. This is the air they breathed. These little kids, they didn't just hear about the 2008 financial crisis, they saw the for sale signs pop up on their neighbors' lawns. As teenagers, they saw their older millennial siblings and cousins get crushed by student debt and move back home. And just as they were finally stepping into adulthood themselves, bam, a global pandemic, insane market volatility, and the entire concept of work gets turned on its head. This constant, relentless instability just hardwired a deep desire for something they could actually control, an asset that wouldn't just disappear overnight. And that intense desire for stability created a huge shift in thinking, especially compared to the generation right before them. See, a lot of millennials were raised on the idea of the dream home. The white picket fence, the big emotional milestone. For Gen Z, it's a whole different ballgame. They look at a house first and foremost as a financial asset. It's an anchor of stability in a world that feels like it's spinning out of control. Their mindset isn't someday when everything's perfect. It's why not now if the numbers make sense? This isn't about feelings. It's a cold, calculated, strategic move. And that pragmatic mindset leads to a really specific set of motivations. For them, owning a home is like putting up a shield. It's a hedge against rent that goes up every year and crazy inflation. It feels like taking back some control in a world that often feels like it has none. It's a direct route to financial independence, which is huge for a generation that is so entrepreneurial. I mean, this is the side hustle generation, right? They see every asset and think, how can this make me money? So a house isn't just a roof over the head, it's a potential rental unit, a source of equity for a business loan. It's an active tool you use to build wealth, not just a passive symbol that you've made it. So the why is crystal clear. But as we all know, motivation alone doesn't pay the bills, and it definitely doesn't cover a down payment. In a market like this, how on earth are they actually pulling it off? Well, this is where we get into their seriously strategic, disciplined, and often pretty unconventional tactics for hacking their way to that down payment. And this right here. This might be the most important thing to understand about their entire strategy. For almost half of Gen Z, the number one goal in life isn't buying a house or getting married, it's advancing their career. They're playing the long game. They've done the math. They know that trying to save for a down payment on a low or stagnant salary is like trying to fill a bucket that's got a hole in it. The only real way to win is to make the income stream bigger first. So they laser focus on getting that promotion, learning that new skill, switching to a better paying job. The career is the key that unlocks everything else. And they're not just aiming for the bare minimum to get in the door. Get this, the average down payment they're saving for is a hefty $54,500. That is an ambitious number, and it shows you how well they understand this market. They're not just trying to scrape together 3.5% for an FHA loan. They get that in a world of 7% mortgage rates. Every single extra dollar they put down up front saves them thousands, even tens of thousands in interest payments over the long haul. That's a really mature financial calculation. They're prioritizing a lower, more manageable monthly payment over simply rushing to get the keys. So, how are they stacking up that kind of cash? Well, this chart tells the whole story. The number one strategy, used by a third of them, is working a second job or a side hustle. Another quarter are willing to literally pack their bags and move somewhere more affordable. But look what's down at the bottom of the list. Risky stuff like crypto or stocks. The top strategies are working more and moving somewhere cheaper. These are not lottery ticket strategies. These are strategies that require sacrifice, discipline, and old-fashioned hard work. And that goes right back to their childhood. They saw what happens when you bet on a volatile market. Their answer is to bet on the one thing they can actually control, themselves. Now, here's where they really break from tradition. Almost a third of Gen Z buyers are totally open to co-buying a home with friends or family. That is a massive leap from the 18% of millennials who said the same thing. This is a total game changer. It instantly doubles, triples, or even quadruples a group's buying power and their savings ability. But it also shows you how social norms are changing. For older generations, homeownership was tied to the nuclear family. Get married, then buy a house. For Gen Z, the financial partnership can come first, whether that's with a spouse, a sibling, or just a trusted friend. The goal is the asset, and they are incredibly flexible about how they get it. And that flexible communal thinking fits perfectly with this strategy called house hacking. The data shows nearly a quarter of Gen Z buyers are planning to rent out part of their home from day one. Let me make that real for you. Imagine you buy a two-bedroom condo and your mortgage is, say, $2,500 a month. You rent out that second bedroom to a roommate for $1,200. Boom! Instantly, your personal housing costs just got cut almost in half, down to $1,300. You are now building equity in an asset for less than it costs to rent a tiny apartment. That is the power of house hacking, and it is the ultimate pragmatic entrepreneurial move. Okay, so they've got the motivation, they've got the financial hacks, but where are they learning how to pull off these pretty complex plans? Well, as the first generation that has never known a world without the internet, their relationship with information, with education, and with traditional experts is just fundamentally different. This quote right here is the absolute foundation for this entire section. For a generation that grew up in the shadow of the 2008 financial crisis, a deep-seated skepticism of big institutions is just baked into their DNA. And this isn't just them being cynical, it's a learned behavior. A generation that watched the entire global financial system almost implode isn't going to blindly trust the people who are at the controls. They operate on a principle of verify, and then maybe I'll trust you. And this is where they do that verification. Look at this. The number one source for home buying education is not a bank's website. It's not some government portal. It's YouTube, used by two-thirds of them. Then you've got online courses and social media. And why these platforms? Well, because they get information on their own terms, in visual formats, from people who are often peers, not stuffy corporate types. They can learn at their own pace. They can rewind a video 10 times to understand amortization, and they can see real-world examples from people who've actually done it. They are essentially crowdsourcing their education and becoming experts themselves long before they ever talk to a loan officer. So, what does this mean for real estate agents and other pros? It means their entire job has changed. This slide nails it. The old school agent, their job was to be a gatekeeper of information, the one person with the keys to the listings. That job is dead. It's obsolete. Gen Z doesn't need a gatekeeper. They need a guide. They've already spent months, maybe even years, scrolling Zillow. What they need is a trusted advisor who can help them make sense of all the noise online, give them a reality check on that perfect house they saw on TikTok, and provide the expert guidance to get them from a complicated contract to a successful closing. And speaking of that kind of expert guidance, this is a perfect time for a reminder. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. Now, all of these individual choices, their motivations, their money hacks, their research habits, they're not happening in a bubble. When millions of people start using the same playbook, it creates these powerful collective waves that start to actively reshape the entire housing market for everybody. So research shows 4 big ways the market is changing. Let's break them down. First, because they're so focused on affordability, you've got fierce competition and bidding wars for those classic starter homes, the condos, the townhouses, the smaller houses. Second, since remote work has cut the cord to expensive cities, they're fueling growth and driving up prices in these secondary cities and suburbs that were once overlooked. Third, their demand for move-in ready homes is changing the game for sellers. And finally, because they are digital natives, if the buying process isn't smooth, mobile-friendly, and totally transparent, they're gone. Technology isn't a bonus feature, it's a basic requirement. Let's dig in a little more on that move-in ready point, because it is so important for anyone trying to sell a house today. To Gen Z, this doesn't just mean you slapped on a fresh coat of paint. It means the expensive stuff is already done. We're talking updated kitchens and bathrooms, new floors, modern fixtures. It also means smart home tech is already built in and the appliances are energy efficient. And the reason is simple. After they've poured every last dollar into the down payment and closing costs, they just don't have an extra 50 grand or the desire to take on a massive renovation. They are absolutely willing to pay more for a home that is convenient and low maintenance from day one. This slide is basically a giant warning sign for sellers, and it really shows you what Gen Z demands from technology. If your listing is what's on the left, just a few photos and a boring description, you will lose the Gen Z buyer instantly. They won't even find your property because it's not going to grab their attention. What they expect is everything on the right: high-quality video tours, interactive virtual walkthroughs, and crystal clear floor plans. They also expect you to respond to their questions instantly. Yeah, the days of just sticking a sign in the yard and waiting for the phone to ring are long, long gone. So where is all this headed? Well, these trends aren't just temporary blips. They're actually part of a much bigger, predicted shift in the market. Redfin has started calling this next era the Great Housing Reset, and it's the future that Gen Z isn't just walking into, but one they are actively building with every single home they buy. Now, it is so important that we get this right. The Great Housing Reset is not a sudden crash. It's not a dramatic bubble bursting overnight. The key words here are long and slow. Think of it more like the tide slowly turning after years of going out. It's a multi-year period where things just gradually get a little bit better for buyers. The big thing is that it's expected to be the first real period since the Great Recession where wage growth finally starts to catch up to and maybe even pass the crazy climb of home prices. It is a marathon, not a sprint, back toward normal. And all of this intense financial pressure is literally changing the definition of what an American household even looks like. The future that analysts are predicting includes more adult kids living at home with their parents to save money, more multi generational families living under one roof, and of course, more friends and roommates buying houses together. What's really fascinating is that in a lot of ways, this is actually a return to a much older way of living. Before the suburbs and the nuclear family became the ideal, this kind of communal and multi generational living was normal. Now, modern financial reality is pushing Gen Z to bring these structures back, not for tradition's sake, but out of pure economic necessity. And of course, when you have this many people struggling with the exact same problem, it starts to show up at the ballot box. The YIMBY, which stands for Yes in My Backyard movement, the one that advocates for building more housing of all kinds, is getting some serious bipartisan support. Politicians on both sides are finally realizing that for young voters, housing affordability isn't just some side issue, it's a top-tier, non-negotiable priority, and that is leading to real policy proposals aimed at increasing supply and lowering costs, showing that Gen Z's economic power is now turning into real political power. So this all leads us to one last big question to think about. We've seen how Gen Z's incredibly pragmatic, asset-focused approach is a direct reaction to the tough market they grew up in. But is it only a reaction, or have their strategies, the co-buying, the house hacking, the career-first mindset, have they set a new permanent standard for how every generation from now on will have to chase the dream of homeownership? So, to wrap it all up, the story of the Gen Z homebuyer is about way more than just a new group of people buying houses. It's about a fundamental shift in mindset. They are navigating this incredibly difficult landscape not with despair, but with a brand new playbook, one that's defined by pragmatism, by creativity, and by this relentless focus on building financial stability in a very unstable world. They aren't just buying homes, they are rewriting the rules of the game for all of us. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide.